Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the podcast where we dive into the latest and greatest in the world of sports. I'm your host, Howard, and we're glad you're tuning in today. We've got a fascinating story to kick off the show, and it's all about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You might have heard that Bill Belichick, the legendary coach of the New England Patriots, has been snubbed by the Hall of Fame voters. That's right, folks. One of the most successful coaches in NFL history won't be joining the ranks of the all-time greats just yet. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could this possibly happen? Belichick's resume is impeccable. 6 Super Bowl wins, 333 total victories, and the reputation as one of the greatest tacticians the game has ever seen. But apparently that wasn't enough to convince the voters, who cited controversies like Spygate and Deflategate as reasons for their decision. The reaction from the sports world has been swift and decisive, with everyone from Patrick Mahomes to LeBron James weighing in on the snub. Even former coaches like Jimmy Johnson are speaking out, saying that Belichick's exclusion is just wrong. And I've got to agree, it's hard to imagine a more deserving candidate for the Hall of Fame. But what does this say about the voting process and the priorities of the people who get to decide who joins the ranks of the all-time greats? Is it really about the on-field accomplishments, or are there other factors at play? We'll be exploring that question and more as we continue to discuss this shocking development. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion. We're diving into the world of women's college basketball, where the action is heating up. The latest NET rankings are out, and there are some notable movements. UCLA is on a tear, with 2 big wins over Colorado and Utah, cementing their spot in the top 10. But the real story is UConn, who remains the only undefeated team in the country. Their dominance is undeniable, with a massive win over Georgetown, proving once again why they're the team to beat. We're also seeing some new faces on the bubble, with teams like Georgia Southern and Harvard making a push for a tournament spot. The Eagles had 2 big wins, including an 86-9 victory over Troy, while the Crimson dismantled Cornell 84-38. These teams are looking to make some noise in the coming weeks and potentially crash the NCAA tournament party. The SEC is also representing itself well, with a record 10 teams ranked in the top 25. It's going to be a wild ride as we head into the final stretch of the season. Teams are jockeying for position, and every game counts. But for now, let's take a look at some of the other teams making waves. Gonzaga had a tough loss to Oregon State, while Auburn is still trying to build on their upset over Alabama. And what about Santa Clara? They're on the rise after a 93-59 win over Seattle. There's so much to talk about in women's college basketball, and we're excited to bring it all to you. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to dive into 2 fascinating stories that have been making waves in the world of soccer. First off, let's talk about the United Soccer League's announcement to launch a new Premier League in 2028. This is a game-changer, folks. The USL Premier will sit atop a 3-tiered structure, with 20 teams competing nationally, and promotion and relegation set to come into effect immediately. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, what does this mean for the sport? Well, let me tell you, it's a defining piece of the long-term vision for men's soccer in America. By establishing a clear structure, the USL is creating a strong foundation for clubs, players, and fans alike. And with promotion and relegation on the horizon, we can expect to see some thrilling matches and intense competition. But that's not all, folks. We also have some news from the MLS camp, where Inter Miami is dealing with the aftermath of a shocking loss. And in other news, Louisville City has announced its intent to join the USL Premier, along with several other teams making moves to upgrade their stadiums. It's an exciting time for soccer fans, and I'm eager to see how these developments play out. And speaking of exciting times, the introduction of promotion and relegation will undoubtedly bring a new level of excitement to the sport. Imagine the thrill of watching your team battle it out for a spot in the top tier, or the agony of relegation looming over them. It's a system that's worked beautifully in European leagues, and I have no doubt it'll do the same here. Now, as we close out today's show, I want to leave you with some food for thought. The world of soccer is evolving rapidly, and it's essential to stay informed about these developments. Whether you're a die-hard fan or just a casual observer, there's no denying the impact that these changes will have on the sport. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, keep your head in the game.